Well, hello from Ronda. This is my video blog, or vlog as I believe they're correctly known. Really because I'm a little bored and I haven't got anything else to do, particularly as there's no IKEA in Ronda. That was a joke. Okay, Ronda, a little bit about the place. I just found a bit of shade, which is really welcome because at the minute it's approximately 42 degrees and that is hot, I can tell you. I've been here for a couple of days, staying in a hotel called the San Gabriel, which is just on the other side of the Puente Nueve. That's a new bridge which was built in the 16th century to separate the old town, which was built in Moorish times, from the new town, which began in the 16th century. So actually, as bridges go, it's not really all that new. A little bit about Ronda. I'm just going to move the camera around now and continue to talk. Can you see that? Ronda, as I said, owes its origins to Moorish settlement, and it's got a very strong Muslim tradition, and was actually probably was the last Muslim outpost in Spain. Of course, the Spanish Inquisition put an end to all that. But it started really with the Marquis of Cadiz, who took over the town and made the Muslims either convert to Christianity or give up everything they owned and just basically bugger off. So it smacks a little bit of the present, really, doesn't it? What goes around comes around. Anyway, in the 16th century, during the time of the Spanish Inquisition, things got a lot worse for Muslims, because if they failed to leave their doors open on a Friday to demonstrate that they weren't praying, and they failed to wear a blue totem on their headgear, they were basically taken to the bridge, which I can't see from here, but you can get some idea of the scale of the drop, and they were invited to toss themselves off the bridge. I'm not actually sure which side, or whether they had a choice as to which side they would end their lives on, but it's a long way down and I don't really think it matters. So this morning I went for a run, which began by going down, I think, those steps over there, and then by a sort of circuitous journey went out to the furthest bit of road that you can see here, and then sort of contoured round. It looks pretty flat, but actually it wasn't all that flat, and then across to the far side, where there's some stables there, which you might just be able to see below the sort of small gorge where the road goes, and then made my way up to the top and then sort of back along this way. It was probably somewhere in the region of about 8k, but there was quite a bit of ascent and descent, so I have to say it was quite a good little bit of exercise. Ronda, it is about well, it's supposed to be a 45-minute drive, but it's actually a lot longer than that from Marbella. It's mostly up a hill on a reasonable road, and it's quite a nice drive. The hotel where we're staying, the San Gabriel, has a relationship with a sporting club about a 10-minute drive out of town, which is a really nice swimming pool, and a shaded area to sit, and a bar, some tennis courts, five-a-side football, all the usual accoutrements of a sort of sporting club. So we're heading out there later because it's really too hot to do anything. We went round, there's a really good museum here, and I actually managed to get in for half price because I'm now a pensioner, well, sort of pensioner, and the museum had a lot of very interesting things in it, but most interesting of all was the display which related to the Inquisition, because there were some pretty fearsome torture and death implements there, from a guillotine, which obviously was used in Spain as well as Britain, because it was a pretty mechanically sound piece of kit to dispatch people, down to the brain crusher, where you put your chin on a metal piece of metal similar to a fence post, and your head had a kind of a metal skull cap above it, and then they turned a large screw. The first thing was your teeth shattered, then your jaw shattered, and then your eyes popped out, and then your brains began to come out. And by that time you were pretty well done, really. So yeah, that was the most interesting part of that museum. Two other things briefly that Ronda is particularly famous for. One is bullfighting. I can't remember the name of the family, but in the 19th century, a local family revolutionized the whole skill and etiquette of bullfighting by inventing a sort of a sword. Oh look, I've just noticed it's one of those bloody padlock things, love locks I think they're called. I mean, they were invented by Servians, so God knows why they're sitting here. But anyway, sorry, I digress. So bullfighting, yeah. So bullfighting is absolutely huge here, and in the plaza, or just off the Plaza de Toros, there is another museum which is dedicated to bullfighting, and that's where I'm going now, mainly because it's got air conditioning and a decent toilet, but it'll be very interesting to learn a little bit about bulls as well. I was going to say something else about Ronda. Oh yes, of course, Ernest Hemingway wrote, apparently, the scene, chapter 10 in For Whom the Bell Tolls, relating to the execution of fascists, oddly enough, by throwing them off the bridge. It was set in a fictional town, but it's generally accepted that it was Ronda, because he spent a great deal of his time here and loved the place very much. So that's Ronda. To be honest, it's not really a great time of year to come here, because it is just so hot, and I would really like to go and explore, but I think you either do it at some ridiculous time of the morning, as about 9 o'clock, or you don't really do it at all, because after dark there's nothing to see really. So my plan would definitely be to come back here in October, November, because it really is on our doorstep from Marbella, and that way we'd get the best of it. Okay guys, chicos, sorry, that's about it for now. I'll possibly put this in YouTube, and then you've got 10 really boring minutes of my video log to look forward to, and hasta pronto.